各位线上的好朋友，大家好，欢迎收看全民开讲守护人权为真相与正义发声系列论坛。在台湾，财税机关沦为执政者整肃异己的打手，强征课税成为执政者以合法包装非法的最佳武器，缺乏人权观念，为上位者服务的税务体系，即使在进入民主政权后亦未改变，因在过去威权体制中压迫人民的加害者从未得到惩处，这是台湾转型正义始终未能真正实践的典型现况。被学者专家称为法税照妖镜的太极门案件，就是台湾政府透过税制手段迫害人民宗教信仰自由与人权的重大指标案例。太极门案延宕1/4个世纪，人民仍未获得真正平反，成为21世纪台湾人权的一大污点，更严重伤害台湾亚洲民主灯塔的名声。太极门1219事件引起众多国际人士关注，深入研究台湾太极门案的意大利宗教学家即国际知名人权寒冬杂志总编辑马西莫·因特洛维吉曾指出，唯有解决太极门案件，才能阻止对台湾灵魂中的正直被逐渐侵蚀与毒害。正如同历史所告诉我们，贪腐的过程通常会导致一个国家灭亡。
It's now several years I have spoken in various fora, including international human rights events and academic conferences about the Taiji Man case. And I'm always afraid that some misunderstanding may happen, because I fully understand it will be a logical reaction to say that's a very complicated Taiwanese tax law, so let's take it to Taiwanese lawyers and they should solve it. But that's a total misunderstanding. It is not, and it never was, a pure tax case. As we said, it's on two accounts a human rights case. First, it's a human rights case because the first human right is freedom of religion or belief. And this case started in 1996 when there was a massive denial of freedom of religion or belief in the post-authoritarian Taiwanese context. Whatever happened in subsequent years derives from this fundamental violation of freedom of religion and belief, and continues to be, to this very day, a violation of freedom of religion or belief. As Willy Fautré said, it is also a violation of human rights because it's a case of administrative corruption. As the United Nations have recognized, corruption is a violation of human rights. It prevents citizens from enjoying their human rights. And so it's a serious problem of corruption. Even the US State Department, in their yearly human rights report, they praise Taiwan in many accounts, and rightly so, but they say Taiwan has a problem of bureaucratic corruption it should solve. And the Taiji Man case is a case where human rights of the Taiji Man community were violated through corruption. Is it a tax case? Is it a human rights case? But it's not an academic question, it's a very practical question. Because if it was a pure tax case, that's something to be solved by Taiwanese lawyers. Why bother to come to Washington, D.C. and discuss this case? Well, the answer is precisely because it's not primarily And certainly it's not exclusively a tax case. It's a case of human rights. It is an established, recognized principle that it is the right and the duty of the international community to protect human rights. And it's needed that the international community takes an interest, as it is doing, and takes a stand in the violation of the Taiji human rights in Taiwan. Let me conclude with a personal remarks. I'm Italian, and in Italy we have this expression of a dialogue of deaf people. Two deaf people try to talk to each other, but they cannot have a dialogue. So in this case, we have, on the one hand, the Taiji man dizzy. Many Taiwanese scholars from leading universities, they are not dizzy, but they have written about this case. And growingly, dozens of international scholars and human rights activists who have participated in conferences and seminars and webinars about the Taiji man case, and they all say, look, it's a question of freedom of religion or belief, and it's a question of human rights. And on the other hand, we have the Taiwanese authorities which said, sorry, but for the year 92, the statute of limitation has expired, so there is nothing we can do. But this is false, because it's an internationally recognized principle that when gross violations of human rights are acknowledged, the situation should always be rectified. And if there is no administrative remedy, there is always a political remedy. That we live in an historical moment when Taiwan needs a maximum of support from its international friends. But a precondition for this support to be effective is for Taiwan to put its own house in order and get rid of these ghosts of its authoritarian past, settle the scores of the authoritarian past, and solve the cases coming from the authoritarian past. And today, the biggest score to be settled, the one generating the most massive domestic and international protest, is the Taiji man case. It is not because we are against Taiwan, it's the contrary. It's because we are friends of Taiwan and we want to protect Taiwan in a moment of need, that we ask Taiwan, please get rid of this problem which is damaging you in a crucial historical moment for you. Get rid of this problem, get rid of your bad past, walk in the path of democracy, and solve the Taiji man case.
I will propose to you 4 statements, and please listen to them, they are important. Statement number 1, all the international scholars and human rights experts who have studied the Taiji man case are friends of Taiwan and support Taiwan. Stating publicly that you are a friend of Taiwan is not easy. So when we say we are friends of Taiwan, we mean it. And those who doubt it are offending us. Statement number 2, as friends of Taiwan, we care about the international image of Taiwan. It is impossible to support Taiwan as a beacon of democracy and human rights if at the same time there are people in the streets of Taiwan protesting that their human rights have been violated. Statement number 3, the international image of Taiwan will continue to suffer if the Taiji man case is not solved. There are thousands in the streets of Taiwan and now also in the United States protesting and claiming that Taiwan does not protect human rights and religious liberty. And there are dozens of scholars and human rights experts internationally who complained about the太极門 case in events every month. Not solving the太極門 case is the best gift Taiwan can make to its enemies. To borrow a famous sentence attributed to Lenin, the government is graciously supplying to its enemies the rope they will use to hang Taiwan. Statement number 4, the only possible solution is political. Make no mistake, at this stage the question is no longer whether the太極門deeds are right. Everybody agrees they are right. The tax bills for all years other than 92 were corrected to 0. Nothing different happened in 92 with respect to the other years, so taxing太極門for 92 is unfair and unjust. In reality, the government itself does not deny it. It says that for 92, the statute of limitation has expired, hence the tax bill and the enforcement cannot be revoked. Well, in democratic countries, there are provisions to rectify decisions that are obviously against justice and human rights, even after statutes of limitations have expired. 25 senior international scholars and human rights activists just wrote this month to President Tsai asking for a political solution of the太極門 case. And on behalf of them, I solemnly reiterate this request today. President Tsai, please adopt a political solution and solve the太極門 case. Thank you.
The Buddha befriended 3 young men, very rich young men, very spoiled young men, and one day the house where these 3 young men are living is on fire. But the 3 young men are so spoiled that they don't manage to realize the house is on fire and they are going to die. So the Buddha tries to figure out how to save these young men, and he realizes talking to them is not useful. They will simply not understand. So the Buddha sends 3 beautiful chariots, very beautiful, and he entices the young man to go out of the home which is burning and board the chariots. They don't realize the home is burning, but they like the chariots. They are beautiful and nice, so they board the chariots and get saved. Now, this story in the life of Buddha corresponds more or less exactly to what we are witnessing tonight. Dr. Hong and Phopal, they are sending the chariots, or perhaps they are the chariots. Our world is burning. There is a lot of smoke, a lot of fire. We are at serious risk to die. We don't realize it. If somebody will talk to us, we will not understand. So that's exactly the mission of Dr. Hong and Phopal. They send the chariots. We saw the chariots tonight.
nice martial arts, nice songs, nice dance. And so we can board these chariots and escape out of our burning house and save ourselves. And so I believe tonight we see something extremely important. We saw the way out. We saw the way to salvation. We saw the way out of destruction, of fire, of smoke, of dread, of destruction. Let's board the chariot. Perhaps we only board the chariot because they are beautiful. It doesn't matter. Perhaps we don't understand. We only like the words, the sounds, the music. It doesn't matter. Let's board the chariot Dr. Hong is offering to us. Let's board the chariot and get saved. I believe that's the lesson of this event. That's the lesson of the Day of Conscience. So thank you, Dr. Hong, for offering to us the chariots. And let's all board the chariots, get saved from our burning house. That's our war. Thank you.